return by Mathis. The Jets' offensive line with Criswell, Haight, Sweeney, White, and Eatman, and they have done a good job. The quarterback is Ken O'Brien. The running backs Blair Thomas and Brad Baxter. Al Toon, Rob Moore are the receivers, and Mark Boyer is the tight end. The Jets start out from their 34. Play action on first down, and the Lions did not go for it. The play whistle down. Mark Spindler with the hit, and will receive credit for his third sack of the season. A loss of 9 on the play.
You know, you credit this sack from Spindler, number 92. He's on the left-hand side of the screen. He's going to come into the inside. He beats Irv Eatman cleanly, takes a hit in the backfield, but still makes the play. Blair Thomas doesn't make it, but there is a fumble. The whistle had blown, remember. Once the whistle blows, the play is dead. Spindler makes a nice play, sacks the quarterback. But the defensive secondary, excellent coverage.
Second down and 18. Out of the draw. Blair Thomas, fumble, coughed it up. Recovered by Detroit. Chris Spielman, who has had a terrific season, recovered a fumble last week, has come up with one right here.
First 2 plays for the Jets, 2 fumbles. Here it goes again. The other one, again, the whistle blew, but here comes Blair Thomas. Watch this. As he tries to go back, that's Jerry Ball that reaches in and strips the ball. Number 54, Spielman gets the ball.
So the Blair Thomas troubles continue. You recall the critical fumble in that Monday night game against the Chicago Bears. And he gives one to the Lions right here. Kramer on first down has it deflected. He threw a bullet intended for Mike Farr.
We now join the following program already in progress.
Still wouldn't have caught it. I mean, that ball was flying. You've got to be able to take a little bit off. And Kramer, they've had some problem at quarterback, and Kramer is the problem.
Chris Spielman, in his 4th year out of Ohio State, leads the Lions in tackles with 95. He's led that department the last 3 years. Came up with the fumble recovery a moment ago. Kramer able to complete inside the 15-yard line. Robert Clark with his 36th reception of the season. And Lonnie Young made the stop. That goes for 12, and Kramer took a shot and is shaken up.
Kramer going back to pass. Now, he's going to pay for this. Once he throws the ball, just take that's number 90 is Dennis Bird, who hits him and drills him right into the turf. But he's still in the game.
Eric Kramer, off his good play in preseason, moved past this man, Andre Ware, and behind the injured Rodney Peete, who is out for the rest of the season. So Kramer will hang in, has a first down at the Jet 14-yard line. Sanders is in for the touchdown.
Number 56, Jeff Lageman had a shot at Sanders and misses him, and then Sanders picks up an excellent block downfield by Willie Green, number 86, and then he scores.
That is his 15th touchdown of the season. He is first in the NFC. And here's Eddie Murray for the extra point. You know, Wayne Fonts was telling us yesterday that the opposition does not realize the quickness of Barry Sanders until they're on the field with him. He is very, very tough. He makes people miss. So tough to get a piece of, as the Jets just discovered. And there is Barry Sanders, who just ran for 14 yards and a touchdown for his 15th touchdown of the season. Detroit 7 and the Jets nothing. The kickoff by Eddie Murray. Hector and Brown are back. This is Johnny Hector out to the 15, and he is smashed down. He is hammered by Nico Noga. And
TD. First, it starts out with Jeff Lageman missing. To the left of your screen, number 56 is Lageman. Sanders is 20, obviously. Here's the miss there. All right, now we move forward. Left of the screen, number 80, Perriman, gets an excellent block. 81, Farr gets another block. And then number 86, right there, is Willie Green, gets the final block. And Sanders touchdown.
So the Jets, who got off to the poor start with the sack and the fumble, go back to the offense. And it's Freeman McNeil, stopped by the right defensive end, Dan Owen. So McNeil inserted here early after Blair Thomas coughed it up. He went for 3. It'll be a 2nd down and 7. A look at the Miller Lite 10-minute ticker. Houston has clinched the AFC Central for the first time as they wallop Pittsburgh. Philadelphia has come from behind. They lead the Giants. Kansas City now over San Diego. And Dallas knocks off slumping New Orleans. That is a final score. And as you know, the Chicago Bears go to 10 up and 4 down with the victory over the Green Bay Packers. Brad Baxter, the ball carrier. He went for 5 on the play. And Jerry Ball, the nose tackle, who has had a terrific season, made the stop. It'll be a 3rd down and 1 at the 26.
Jerry Ball is the guy that you have to block. That man, number 93. If you don't block him, you don't run the ball, nor do you pass the ball.
And we'd like to welcome those of you who have been watching Pittsburgh and Houston. The Oilers defeating the Steelers by the score of 31-6. Marv Albert, Paul McGuire from the Silverdome in Pontiac. And the Lions lead the Jets by the score of 7-0. And Ken O'Brien calling for the timeout.
One thing, he looked down, he had the wrong play called for the defense that was out there and didn't have enough time to get a change in.
So with 9:45 remaining in this first quarter, we'll take a timeout.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Starter. Look for the stars and you'll find Starter. By the new Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right. By Head & Shoulders, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And by Miller Lite. It's it, and that's that.
It is a 3rd down and 1 for the Jets as we resume. O'Brien out of the shotgun. That's Toon in motion. And the penalty flag is thrown. Let's see, was he drawn off?
Mike Haight was offside, or moved. And that'll make it 3rd down and almost 7.
Referee is Red Cashin.
First down. Oh, I'm sorry.
And that is indeed a fine impersonation that I know Red appreciates.
False start before the ball was snapped. Number 79 on the offense. Still 3rd down.
And that is the left guard, as you mentioned, Paul, Mike Haight. He and Dave Cadigan have been rotating at that position, so Haight called. And the Jets now 3rd down and 6 at the 21.
Red Cashin's got a cold. We're not going to hear him do that today.
Now, only you would know that. Be able to pick it up on the public address system here at the huge Silverdome. Well, the Jets aware that they would be affected by the crowd noise here at the Silverdome, and Ken O'Brien is having his difficulties. Jets expect to go to the silent count frequently. The Silverdome so loud and the sound reverberates. Apparently they did not move the ball on that penalty, and now it has been set outside the 20.
Well, they had a 5-yard penalty, never gave it to him.
It is a 3rd and 6. And Terrence Mathis not able to hold on. He should have had it. It was covered by Ray Crockett.
He had Crockett beat, and that ball is right on target. O'Brien can't throw the ball any better than this. Watch the play. Terrence Mathis is coming across the field. Perfect position. Crockett is behind. He's got him beat.
is Terrence Mathis. And Louis Aguiar back at his 5 to punt to Mel Gray. Second in the NFL, averaging 13 yards per punt return, right behind Brian Mitchell of Washington. And a good boot by Aguiar. Fair catch called by Gray. So Aguiar unleashes a 52-yard punt. And Detroit will go back to the offense. Of course, still on the minds of the Detroit Lions is their teammate offensive lineman Mike Utley. That's James Hasty wearing number 60 with his thoughts on his Washington State teammate Mike Utley, whose career is over after a paralyzing spinal injury suffered in a game against the Rams last month. Utley undergoing physical therapy. Kramer able to put it in the hands of Sanders. And Barry Sanders gets across the 45, led by Lomas Brown and Eric Andolsek. He goes for 20 yards.
They run a little slip screen to the outside, and Scott Mercereau is down back at about the 24-yard line. But watch this when the play sets up. Mo Lewis does a great job, number 57, trying to hold off right here, waiting to get some help to the inside. Now, Kyle Clifton comes in, misses the tackle. McMillan gets blocked, and they finally get Sanders down at almost at the 47-yard line. Mo Lewis made a great play on the offensive line, but didn't get help from his friends, and now we've got Scott Mercereau, who's hurt back about the 28-yard line.
Crowd chanting Barry for Barry Sanders. The Jets checking out Scott Mercereau. Scott Mercereau on the sideline, shaken up just a moment ago. Bill Pickel has come on, replacing Mercereau. 6 minutes gone by in this first quarter. Lions with a 7-0 lead. First down at the 47, and again it is Sanders. And a flag has been thrown. Lonnie Young makes the stop. Sanders goes for 5 on the play. Pete Carroll, the Jets defensive coordinator, telling us last night that Barry Sanders is always a step away from busting it. That's what he says the Jets have to prevent. They have not been able to do that to this point. He said he also hopes to force Sanders into a pass protection role because he's not a good blocker.
Well, that time we got slipping, I think, on 81.
Number 81 on the offense.
Bar.
15 yards, still first down.
Thanks, Red. But Barry Sanders, when we watched him just on that last play, he can do so many moves in the backfield. But when he has to outrun a linebacker to get outside, that's easy for him to do. He can get there in a heartbeat.
Ball placed back at the 31-yard line. It'll be a first down and 25. 7-0 Detroit on a 14-yard touchdown run by Sanders. And Kramer was nearly picked off. It was intended for Perriman. Eric Kramer spent 2 years with Calgary in the Canadian Football League. Signed as a free agent with Detroit last year. Impressive during preseason, as he was a year ago. Off his good play in the preseason, surprisingly, he moved by Andre Ware and behind the injured Rodney Peete. Peete out for the rest of the season with an Achilles tendon injury, and he was really coming on.
Well, the one thing that Kramer said to us is that he just wanted to make the roster. He ends up starting.
Second down and 25. And Kramer's pass completed short of the first down. Robert Clark on the reception. It was covered by Mike Grimm. It goes for 15.
You're going to see a lot of this underneath stuff. And Clark, number 82, makes the catch because the Jets are going to play zone defense, and there's a reason for it, which we'll get to. But if you take a look at Clark, he is in front of the zone. They are not playing man-to-man on the outside. Now, that's Grimm there. The reason for it is this. When you start playing man-to-man, you turn your back and you run. They don't want to turn their back to Barry Sanders. They want all 11 men facing him.
Third down and 9. On the draw, it is Sanders. season. And Eddie Murray adds the extra point. A sensational start for Barry Sanders, propelling the Lions to the 14-0 lead.
All right, let's just take a look at it. See number 90, Bird, he already went by. Now, the problem with this, we're seeing this one from the ground. Here comes Lonnie Young coming in. He's not going to catch him. What happens on this play, it's a third down situation. Where are the linebackers? All right, in the middle is Washington. Watch him overrun the play. Bird runs by. Washington goes to the outside. Once Sanders goes to the middle, there's nobody there. He just outruns. Lomas Brown didn't have to block anybody. Touchdown.
So 16 touchdowns for the season. That equals a Detroit Lion club record, equals his own record of a year ago. And Billy Sims had 16 back in 1980. We had a nice chat with Barry yesterday following the Lions practice, and he says he's been a student of running backs. So we asked him who did he admire during his younger days. He said he was a great fan of O.J. Simpson, who spent some time with both Barry and Thurman Thomas this week for a feature on NFL Live. Said O.J., Tony Dorsett, and Walter Payton were the three running backs that he most admired.
But he has his own style. He does not have any of their style. He's something.
Eddie Murray with the kickoff. And a good one handled by Johnny Hector. He has the opening. Johnny Hector to midfield. Melvin Jenkins got him down, but Hector went 53 yards on the return.
But he'd have never scored because Eddie Murray was back there backpedaling. Right. Watch Hector. First of all, he wasn't going to come out. Then he realized he was in the field. Now watch. All the Lions go into the middle of the field. Once they do that, they get to the outside. Pritchett is the only guy that really cuts him back inside. But you see number 3? Watch Murray. Back up, back up, back up. Somebody please tackle him. Please. Thank you. He was there. He was there.
Get first down at the 47. Off the play action. O'Brien firing deep. Oh. And Al Toon still looking for his first touchdown catch of the season.
You know, this ball was really thrown an awful long way, and you got to wonder if Toon was worried about whether he was going out of the end zone. Now, Jerry Ball's being blocked right at the line of scrimmage. Look at the height on this ball, and watch where the ball comes down. Here's Toon. It goes off his fingertips. He had plenty of room at the end of the end zone. Should have caught the ball. Watch this.
Oh, no question.
Unless he lost it in the roof. And they said a lot of players coming in there have lost the ball in this roof.
It is a second down and 10. And O'Brien incomplete.
He had Moore open again. I mean, he had two guys open. See the roof there? I mean, you can lose the ball in there. We showed it in Houston where they lost the ball, and in this roof particularly, because they were talking about one of the offensive receivers for the Detroit Lions, that Clark had problems with it, Perriman has had problems with it, and I got to believe that last time Toon had a problem with it.
And O'Brien has had two drops, arguably two passes that should have been caught, Terrence Mathis and Al Toon in the end zone. And this one is caught for the first down. Nice catch by Freeman McNeil, stopped by George Jameson.
Now the other guys had the ball hit him in the hand. Right. Freeman goes with one hand and just grabs the ball out of the air. What a great pass. First of all, O'Brien, the rush is on. Watch him move to his right, to the left of the screen. Now here comes Freeman McNeil, one-handed catch. Excuse me. Thank you very much. Pull it in. Get the first down.
Little stickum, perhaps? Oh, that's not legal.
Come on.
Please.
You know that's not legal.
It is a first down at the 34. The Lions with a 14-0 lead. Moore in motion. And it's McNeil again running well, and obviously off that fumble by Blair Thomas. Unless there is an injury we do not know about, Blair has been sent to the bench, replaced by Freeman McNeil, and now Thomas is back in.
The one thing about looking at the Jets and looking at the defensive secondary of the Detroit Lions is the Jets have people open all over the field. But I'm not talking about just getting open. I'm talking about wide open. And as long as the offensive line gives O'Brien that much time, they'll get back in this ball game.
2nd and 6 at the 30. And here's Thomas slashing his way for the first down. Stopped by Chris Spielman. We're set for an update. Let's go to Bob Costas.
Marvel Wild one at Arrowhead in Kansas City. Late in the ballgame, Mark Vlasic, who replaced an ineffective Steve DeBerg, hits the rookie out of LSU, Harvey Williams, with this go-ahead touchdown. It was 17-14. Chargers came back, tied it on John Carney's 28-yard field goal with 11 seconds left. And now, with about 10 minutes remaining in overtime, they're even up at 17.
All right, Bob, and back at the Silverdome, Jerry Ball, the Detroit Lions' excellent nose tackle, is down. Here's a look at what happened to Ball.
Jerry Ball, number 93, is by far the best defensive player on this team. Now, here he is being blocked right at the line of scrimmage. But look at here. He gets hit right at the knee. That's a chop block, and that is illegal. Now, here it comes right here. See the chop block right at his knees? That's Brad Baxter. That is illegal.
Remember, in accordance with Michigan law,
that's the one thing that the defensive linemen fear more than any other block is when they're being set up by an offensive lineman and then a back comes in and catches them at the knee.
thank you for your cooperation and concern.
Jerry Ball, a Pro Bowl player the last 2 years, a man who is constantly being double-teamed. Reminds many of Michael Dean Perry in terms of the build at 6'1", around 300 pounds. In fact, that bulging waistline, somewhat of a distraction last year.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you something. We sat yesterday with Mr. Jerry Ball, and I will say that because when he looks at you, it's a little scary. But this is one of the things, again, that we were talking about, Marv, that is so scary for a defensive lineman. You're setting up and you're fighting off an offensive lineman. And if we can take another look at it and maybe stop it when you see Baxter come in, because here's Ball. The center has got him. When you're sitting there, Sweeney is blocking him, and then underneath comes Baxter. He doesn't even see Baxter. His leg is planted, and he takes his knee out. That's an illegal block. And now they're bringing the card out. I mean, it's just, you hate to see that happen. And he knows, I'm going to tell you something, he's mad. If there's any way that he can stay in this ball game, he would. Because you're taking, first of all, it's an illegal block. But the one thing that happens in a play like this is you take their best. He's pointing fingers. I mean, he's mad. He has a right to be. But you're taking the Detroit Lions' best defensive player off the field. Look, I mean, he is livid.
Now, we have heard accusations time to time about what you term the illegal block, and there have been several clubs that have complained that there are Jet players who do it.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Buffalo complains about it. I mean, you hear it all the time. I live in Buffalo, and you hear it all the time that they do it. And he knows that he was hit illegally. When he sees the film, he may call Brad. Or stop by.
I will have a report on Jerry Ball and pass it on. We're set to resume with 5:43 remaining in this first quarter. And the Lions up by the score of 14-0. First down play, and on the slant, it is Baxter. Stopped by Jamison. 8-yard advance for Brad Baxter. Let's take a look at the Miller Lite 10-minute ticker. These are final scores. These the early games. San Diego and Kansas City now in overtime. Chicago knocking off Green Bay. Indianapolis and New England go to OT. So the Bears are now 10-4, and the Lions needing a victory here to stay on top in a tie for first. Baxter trying to pick his way, and he is short of the first down. Spielman making the stop. Kelvin Pritchett has come on, replacing Jerry Ball. Owens moving to the nose position, and Pritchett will play outside.
Spielman was in. Spindler was also in on the play.
It'll be a third down at about 1.5 yards.
Well, the way they have this thing marked, Marv, it's third and about 0.5 yard. And if I were the quarterback, I would ask to have this thing marked so you'd know exactly how much you have.
You think it's 1/2 yard?
Yeah.
Looks like a little over a yard.
Well, they have to go inside the 9. Oh, yeah, inside the 14.
All right, here's O'Brien throwing. Intended for 2. Covered by the extra defensive back, Terry Taylor. And let's see what Bruce Coslett does.
Marv, you're looking at a marker on the other side.
No,
the guy finally moved it.
They changed
it. But the one down here is where it's at. The ball is inside the 15. They don't even have to go to the 14. They only have about 6 inches.
The fellow on the far side taking a little nap, Paul.
Don't trust those guys, Marv.
You're right. You're right.
Don't trust them.
Well, they are going for it. 4th and 1/2 yards. And it is a first down. Al Toon able to make the catch and remain in bounds, taking the hit from Terry Taylor.
Can you believe these two calls? They got 3rd and less than 1 yard, 4th and less than 1 yard, and they throw the same pass play twice. Look at this, and here Toon is covered on the outside. The first one he dropped, he only had 1/2 yard. Those were two calls that I would question, but it worked.
And Al Toon did a nice job in staying in bounds. That went for 9. Al Toon has 6 inches on the 5'10" Terry Taylor. The Jets have a 1st and goal at the 6. 85 more in motion. It's to the ground. And a touchdown for Blair Thomas. Nice moves by Thomas, who takes it in from 6 yards away.
Now you think about the other two plays. I don't want to belabor a point, but you think about 3rd and 1/2 yard, 4th and 1/2 yard, you throw twice. Now here comes Blair Thomas from the 6.5 yard line. I mean, he goes in. Only one guy had a shot at him. They score the touchdown. You just wonder about the play calling.
And now Pat Leahy will attempt the extra point. Louis Aguiar will put it down. 3:08 remaining in the first quarter. And the Lions now lead the Jets by the score of 14-7. Welcome back to the Silverdome in Pontiac, where the Lions lead the Jets by the score of 14-7. Paul McGuire, along with yours truly, Marv Albert. Paul, what a delight this is to spend this quality time with you.
I know it just, especially indoors, which when it's so romantic. But I think the most important thing about this ball game, the Jets came back and scored. Ball is out. You better figure out a way to stop Barry Sanders, because if you don't stop him, you're not going to win the football game. I'm talking about the Jets.
And we also have a report on Jerry Ball, left leg injury, uncertain whether he will return. There, the kickoff from Aguiar, and again a short kick. They are looking to keep it away from Gray, and it's Jeff Campbell who is up front as one of the up men who is able to handle it. 11-yard return by Campbell. Wayne Fonts telling me last night that after viewing that Jet-San Diego game where the Jets were so successful in keeping it away from the Charger return man, he was well aware that Aguiar would try to do the same against Gray. Wayne Fonts, a one-time New York Titan, predecessor of the Jets, a defensive back for the Titans of the AFL. Sanders with a short pickup. Kyle Clifton made the stop. Font's career was cut short by a broken leg. And he was in the Jet record book up until 2 years ago. An 83-yard interception return back in '62 by Fonts as a member of the Titans was the all-time club record. Did it against the Houston Oilers, but Eric McMillan erased him 2 years ago as he went 93 yards.
I've played against Coach Fonts back in those days. Aren't you excited?
Paul, my reaction, I'm just holding myself
overwhelming.
And Kramer has it knocked down. Pass intended for Perryman. Lageman got a piece of it.
Lageman reads it all the way, and Kramer has no chance. 56 is Lageman. Lomas Brown, 75 is blocking on him. Now watch what Lageman does. Kramer's looking at it right now. He pushes Lomas Brown away. The ball is low. Lageman knocks it down. Perryman has no chance. And also, Lonnie Young was coming up to make the play anyway.
A 3rd and 10 at the 31.
Mercereau is back in the ballgame.
Scott Mercereau forced out, shaken up earlier, replaced by Piquel, and has returned. Kramer intercepted by Eric McMillan. Eric McMillan going the distance. Bad tackling by the Lions.
Those moves are for McMillan, or for Kramer I'm talking about. I mean, this ball is overthrown. He had Perryman open, going down the middle of the field, playing into the zone. And watch this. Watch where this ball is thrown. McMillan makes a great play on the ball. They're playing zone defense, remember. Here's the ball over Lonnie Young. McMillan makes the play. I think Mercereau gets an excellent block here. There's Lomas Brown coming in, and Mercereau back upfield got a good block. But watch McMillan. He gets bumped right into the end zone by Barry Sanders. Nice play.
3rd interception of the season. His 5th career touchdown. He has been a big play guy. Eric McMillan running it in, going 57 yards, and now Leahy has tied it. So the Jets have come back from a 14-0 deficit. They had been listed by Barry Sanders, and with 1:58 remaining in this first quarter, they've tied the game at 14.
It was a bad series for Detroit because, first of all, the first play they run Barry Sanders, he gets no yardage. Second play was a screen that was knocked down, and the third play is intercepted for a touchdown. I'm not saying keep going to Sanders, but he is your guy. He had 72 yards in 4 carries. Keep giving him the ball. You don't have to throw the ball, young man.
A reminder, next Saturday, O.J. Simpson and Bill Walsh will report on their visit to the San Francisco 49ers on NFL Live. Bill, of course, in his 3rd season with us at NBC. He'll assess his former club, along with one-time 49er running back O.J. Simpson. They'll be joining Bob and Will and Bill. And then, from Candlestick in San Francisco, it'll be Kansas City and San Francisco. That's next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern Time here on NBC.
When we were leaving the hotel today, Mark, there were some Jet fans in the hotel. We stayed at the same hotel with the Jets. What do you think? This will be a low-scoring game, shouldn't it? I said, yeah, real low. Are you kidding?
Paul always very flexible during those conversations. Whatever is brought up, you agree with.
Oh, yeah. Why not? Then you get out of there.
All right, here's the kick by Aguiar, and again, he keeps it away from Gray. And the return once again by Campbell.
Marv, here is a situation that Gray should have given Campbell a call because Campbell was right on the sideline. And there was no place to go. The ball would have gone out of bounds, and Detroit would have gotten the ball at the 35-yard line. But he doesn't get a call from Gray, so he goes ahead and catches the football.
And you saw Chris Burkett on the Jet sideline. That is a major loss for the Jets. He was injured during practice this week. He's out with a sprained right knee. He says he'll be back next week for the game against New England. Kramer throwing on first down, and it's a short pickup. Caught by Mike Faw, stopped by Mike Grimm. Look at the Miller Lite 10-minute ticker. These are the final scores from the early games. Houston clinching the division. Philadelphia coming from behind to beat the Giants. Kansas City and San Diego in overtime. Chicago knocking off Green Bay, and an OT, New England knocking off Indianapolis. Raiders in front of Buffalo. And Atlanta jumping in front 10-0 on the Rams. Jets and Lions tied at 14. Off the draw, Sanders able to break a tackle and reaches out for the first down. Mo Lewis, the outside linebacker, made the stop. He picked up 5 on the play. Getting back to the subject of Chris Burkett, he has been such a pleasant surprise for the Jets, excelling on special teams. Jets pumping him for the Pro Bowl, and he's also done it as a wide receiver.
I talked to Chris yesterday, and I said, how you feeling? He said, I got a slight ligament tear. How do you have a slight ligament tear? Everybody's talking about he might miss the rest of the season. He said, I'll be back next week. I'll be fine. And he's up there cheering everybody on, especially the special teams guys.
Down to 20 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Here's Kramer on a screen. Sanders. Sanders excites the crowd. He is hit hard out of bounds by Brian Washington. Picked up 7 on the play.
You see what he did to Lonnie Young? I mean, he made Lonnie Young miss, and it is incredible. Watch this. But this is the one outside, and Washington hits him, but he is hitting him in the playing field. That is legal. That play is legal.
The Jet secondary coming into today is banged up. Not a good time to play against a run-and-shoot offense led by Barry Sanders. Fans booing because the Lions are letting the clock run down. James Hasty is bothered by a sprained foot. Mike Grimm by a sprained neck, although they are in action. Whoop. Well, the Detroit Lions have dedicated their season to offensive lineman, a very popular player here, Mike Utley. Lions wearing decals with number 60 on their helmet, and they've adopted the slogan "Thumbs Up," reflecting Utley giving that sign when he was carried off the field when he was injured. And Sanders lost it. The Jets claim they've recovered.
Lageman made a super play on the outside. If the whistle didn't blow, wait, look at these guys. Now, I don't see any flags. There it is.
Some late hits, a couple of jabs thrown by Jet and Lion players.
That's Brim, number 43, I believe. Bruce is trying to get his players off the field. Now, McMillan's in there pointing fingers. See, when a fight used to break out, this was years ago when I played, I always stood behind like a lineman and reached over his shoulder and yelled. Never got
But you were a big guy then, Paul.
Wrong. Cowardly. Remember the Lion? Question is, was it a fumble? Let's get back to the football game before all the fighting.
After the play was over, we've got unnecessary roughness both ways. They all sat. Fumble is recovered. First down.
There we go. Yeah. Lageman makes just a sensational play on the outside. Not only does he make the tackle right to your screen. There's Lageman, 56. Look at this. But I'm going to tell you what, they're going to give this thing and reverse it. They should, because the ball hits the ground, and the tackle cannot cause a fumble. They're going to reverse this, I'm telling you.
It is very rare for Barry Sanders to fumble.
Watch.
Apparently they are going to take another look.
Watch Barry Sanders' hand. When Lageman pulls him down, it's a tremendous play by Jeff Lageman, but watch his left arm.
There's a fumble and a recovery by the defensive
Watch this.
team.
Now watch what happens. Here he comes down. The ball hits the ground in his arm. They'll give the ball back to Detroit with a loss on the play. Here he comes. Lageman's got him. Barry Sanders goes down. It hits the ground. The other replay is the better replay because it actually shows the arm going down. Watch this. his left arm where the ball is. Here's the tackle. Good play. The ball's not coming out. He hits it with his elbow on the ground. The ball pops out. It'll be Lions ball.
Good catch, Paul. If they uphold your opinion, that is.
You question?
We'd like to welcome those of you who have been watching the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Diego Chargers. The Chiefs winning in overtime, 20-17. Marv Albert with Paul McGuire. From the Silverdome in Pontiac, we're just underway in the second quarter. The Lions jumped in front 14-0 on 2 touchdown runs by Barry Sanders, one from 14 and then from 51. But the Jets came back. Blair Thomas, 6-yard touchdown run, and Eric McMillan on an interception and ran it in. So it is a reversal on the play. The replay official is Cal Lepore, and they have reversed it. The Lions maintain possession. It'll be merely a loss of 2 on the play.
And it is the right call because, again, the only way the ground can cause a fumble is if you're not being tackled or tackled. Here it is. Lageman made just a sensational play, no question about that. But you see the ball comes out as Sanders' arm hits the ground. That is a tremendous call. And that's the good parts about instant replay.
Let's see what the call is. They're saying a 3rd down and 4. 3rd and 4 from the 30. And Kramer able to complete for the 1st down to Robert Clark. Stopped by Lonnie Young.
You know why this play works so well to Clark is because Lonnie Young got stuck looking for Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders will come out to the left of the screen all by himself. Now, Clifton is there, but watch where Lonnie Young is. You see 31 stuck way up in front. If he can get back in that zone defense, he can make the play on the ball. But you have to be aware of where Sanders is. You can't let him catch it in the open field.
And for the first time today, the Lions are going with the 2 backs in the set. DJ Dozier has come on. They did this a couple of weeks ago against Minnesota, and Sanders stopped behind the line by Lonnie Young.
Lonnie Young, how many tickets did he give?
Yes, he grew up in nearby Flint and had to secure 40 tickets for friends and relatives. He said Terrence Mathis actually his request list was even more demanding. It's part of the Lonnie Young, Terrence Mathis section. Mathis, also from Flint, had to get 60 tickets for the game. So they accounted for 100 people in that section that you just saw.
So they're both playing this game for nothing.
Yes. 2nd down and 15. Kramer broken up.
James Hasty, I mean, that is just an outstanding defensive play by that man right there, number 40. I mean, he is there, makes the play, goes over the top and knocks the ball down. Watch Hasty come in here. Look at this. Super play, no contact, just knocked the ball down. That is outstanding. And Willie Green had no chance to catch the ball. And, people wonder, 60 tickets, 45 tickets. They pay for them. They have to pay for the tickets, and it's deducted from their check. But I was playing, I'd owe them for next week.
It is a 3rd and 15 at the 34. Kramer going sideline. It is caught by Perryman, who was covered by Lewis, but that is short of the 1st down. Brett Perryman picking up 9 on the play. There are a number of outstanding athletes from Flint, Michigan, along with Lonnie Young and Terrence Mathis. Football players such as Carl Banks and Mark Ingram, Andre Rison. From the NBA, Trent Tucker, Glenn Rice, Jeff Grayer grew up in Flint. And Mathis is now back waiting for the punt from Jim Arnold.
They better be aware of the fake because we watched Arnold yesterday practice, not only throwing the ball but running with it and also off a field goal.
Gets away a strong punt. Mathis lets it fly. It carries to the end zone. So they'll bring it out to the 20. A 56-yarder for Jim Arnold.
NBC sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Call Domino's Pizza right now and you'll be enjoying a hot, delicious pizza during halftime.
Welcome back to the Motor City, actually the outskirts of the Motor City in downtown Pontiac, where the Silverdome is located. Marv Albert with Paul McGuire. We are early in the second quarter, and the Jets and the Lions tied at 14. Jets first down from the 20. Again, the play action. Good fake by O'Brien, but it's a loss on the play. The tight end Boyer driven back by the outside linebacker George Jameson. We are set for another update. Let's go to our New York studios. Here's Bob.
Marv, here's the way it finally ended at Arrowhead after trailing 14-0. The Chiefs were able to come back, force overtime, and then win on this 18-yard Nick Lowry field goal with 3.5 minutes left in the overtime. So Kansas City takes their record to 9-5, and the Chargers, who almost pulled the upset, are 3-11.
All right, Bob, we have a later report on the nose tackle for Detroit. Their all-pro player, Jerry Ball, with a sprained knee. No word on if he would be able to return, but that is a major loss for the Lions. O'Brien has to run, couldn't find anybody, and he slides for the first down. Covered up by Tracy Hayworth. Ken O'Brien picks up the first down. Now the Lions alignment with Ball out has Owens at the nose and Pritchett on the outside.
Ken O'Brien, fleet of foot. Watch this.
Yes.
He took about 12 steps before he got back to the line of scrimmage, but then, and look at this, he picks up that first down. Now remember, see, he ends up about at the 33-yard line, but where he first goes down is where they mark it, and he just did get the first down.
What did Ken tell us a couple of weeks ago? No one would mistake him for twinkle toes.
Yeah.
Very modest statement. Here's Hector. Here's Coslett shuffling his running backs. Kelvin Pritchett made the stop. Johnny Hector picked up 4 on the play. And we're going to return to Bob at our New York studios for another update.
Our thought, Marv, is you just can't get enough of us. There was another overtime game. This one was in Foxborough. Hugh Millen unleashing this 45-yarder to Michael Timpson with 6 minutes left in OT. The Patriots, who had trailed 17-3, tied the game with 7 seconds left in regulation on a Millen to Ben Coates touchdown pass. Then they win it on that one, 23-17.
Thank you, Bob. And O'Brien completes. Al-Toon bubbled and held on. Brought down by the free safety, Benny Blades. It's a 24-yard pickup for Toon, his second reception of the day.
And what happens is O'Brien throws it before Toon's looking. Watch Jenkins is 24. The ball is in the air. See how fast the ball got there? That ball was in the air before Toon turned, and then he makes the catch, bobble the ball. That is a tremendous play by Al-Toon.
The Jets seem to have settled down after the shaky start. First 2 plays, a sack and a fumble, and they were down 14-0. Game is now tied at 14. Hard running move by Johnny Hector, stopped by Dan Owens.
You know, play action has worked for O'Brien, but I'll tell you another thing that's going to work for O'Brien because of the over pursuit. Now, we talked to Chris Spielman about the Jets. He said when they line up in certain formations, 95% of the time, maybe even more than that, they tell you exactly where they're going to run. They're going to run inside. They very rarely run outside. So they pursue so much. If O'Brien will run a bootleg, put the backs one way, roll back out the other way, it's going to be wide open.
Al Thomas and Baxter are the running backs. And it is Baxter right at the marker, stopped by Hayworth. Brad Baxter going for 7.
Hayworth on the stop.
Now here we are in a situation that they're going to be short about a full yard here. Now remember, in the first quarter, they had 3rd and about 6 inches. They threw the ball. They had 4th and about 6 inches. They threw the ball. Now they're going to take timeout.
And when we resume, it'll be a 3rd and about 1.
Now, they already lost ball in the middle. Spielman just went off the field, number 54. And they cannot have. That's their 2 best defensive players.
And there is Chris Spielman hobbling to the sideline. He's replaced by Toby Castone. Check the Schick Tracer 10-minute ticker. These are the later scores. Raiders leading Buffalo by 10. A third down and 1. And O'Brien is hauled down. George Jameson putting the pressure on.
I'm sorry, I just don't like the play calling. Third and short. They just ran the ball twice and picked up 9.5 yards. Why go back and throw the ball and then take your people out? You have nobody to block. Take a look to the right of the screen. Jameson is there. That's just an excellent play by the linebacker. But the problem was that Brad Baxter, number 30, I got to believe he went the wrong way. He went left and should have gone right. Now you have to punt the ball.
Fourth sack of the season by Jameson. Mel Gray back, awaiting the punt from Louis Aguiar. And Gray let it go, and it carries in. 44-yard punt. That was not what Aguiar had in mind, so they'll bring it out to the 20. 7:18 remaining. In this first half, the Jets and the Lions tied at 14.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Burger King, where you always get great tasting food your way, right away. By Acura Automobiles, experience precision crafted performance. By Citizen ProMaster, for professional use only. And by the employee owners of Avis, we try harder.
The Detroit Lions 7-0 here at the Silverdome. They are unbeaten indoors, winless outdoors, seeking their first playoff appearance since back in 1983. Kramer to throw on first down, and it is deflected.
Lageman. What a year this young man is having. Jeff Lageman. We talked to him yesterday. He's stranger than fiction, that guy. I really
stranger
like
than fiction.
I love him. Watch this. There's Lageman. That's the second one he's knocked down. But he, I really like the honesty about Lageman. When last year he had a great first game and then he had a bad year, and he told us that. And he really believes he's having a good year. And there goes the second best player on defense for Detroit to the locker room, Chris Spielman.
Told it's a bruised knee and probably will return. Sanders stopped by Hasty. It's a 6-yard advance.
Wait a minute. This ball looked now Marvin Washington is down on his knees. It looked like he hit the ball, and it bounced in to Barry Sanders' hands. It didn't look like he was throwing the ball to Barry Sanders. Marvin Washington has got his helmet off, and he's on his way to the sideline. He has to because the trainer came out. When you hear that booing, the people are seeing the replay on the Diamond Vision here, but Washington, I think, got a piece of the ball because Barry Sanders ends up with the ball, goes to the outside. James Hasty is there, grabs Barry Sanders, and pulls him out of bounds. There's nothing wrong with that play.
Well, the crowd reacting to the tackle out of bounds.
All right, look at this pass here. The ball is hit because Barry Sanders is right in front of him. I mean, it's kind of strange, even for Kramer.
Marvin Washington now headed back to the Jet locker room. So Washington departs. Busy locker rooms right now. We still have 7 minutes remaining in this first half.
We have a full locker room before halftime.
Third down and 3. Kramer looking right, couldn't find anyone. Goes left. Wide open. Willie Green. season.
Good things happen to those who wait. Now, Kramer, when he goes back to pass, first of all, he runs into the running back. He was going to throw the ball out here on the right-hand side, or to his right, closest to us, but he runs into the back. Now he steps back because he can't throw it out, and he looks downfield, and who's running downfield all by himself is number 86, Willie Green.
Eric Kramer with his 9th touchdown pass of the season, and Eddie Murray converts for a 21-14 Detroit lead. Here is Kramer on target with Green. Willie Green in his first year out of Mississippi, an 8th-round draft pick a year ago, and he spent all of last season on injured reserve. Crowd up in the area of 70,000 at the Silverdome. They're short of a sellout capacity at 80,000. Eddie Murray with a deep kick. And Johnny Hector had a good one in his last outing. Reaches across the 20. He went for 19 yards on the play. And that last Kramer to Green touchdown for 73 yards, the longest touchdown pass this season for Detroit, the longest, in fact, in 2 years.
You see what I'm talking about? Here goes Kramer. He runs into Barry Sanders. He's going to try to throw out to his right. Now he has to pull the ball down. And he can't throw out here, so he looks back, and who's downfield but Willie Green? He ends up, Clark comes in, makes the play on Hasty, and it's touchdown.
Jets first down from the 22. Chris Spielman, who left earlier with a bruised knee, is back on the field. O'Brien with the play action. And goes incomplete for Blair Thomas. Covered by inside linebacker Dennis Gibson.
Blair Thomas that time just really got hooked up with the inside linebacker Dennis Gibson. If he avoids him, which he could have done, if he avoids him, there's a flag on the play.
Roughness. Number 92 on the defense, 15 yards, first down.
That's Spindler. But if Blair Thomas avoids Gibson, he'd be able to make the catch, but they get 15 anyway.
Mark Spindler in his second year out of Pittsburgh, 3rd-round draft pick last year. Wayne Fonts telling us last night that he's the type of guy who'll fight you all game long. Very aggressive player, never stops coming. He's back from an injured knee. 21-14. Lions on top. Big hole for Brad Baxter. Spielman and Blades on the stop. Baxter going for 8 yards. Look at the Schick Tracer 10-minute ticker. First, the early games. Houston clinching the division. It'll be a 2nd down and 2 at the 45. 85 more in motion. Here's Hector. And he squirts his way for a first down. Stopped by George Jameson. Johnny Hector seeing quite a bit of action here this afternoon. He went for 5 on the play.
No, it's really surprising because the Jets seem to be able to do whatever they want to do on first down. If they throw the ball, they pick up 8 or 9 yards. If they run the ball, they pick up 8 or 9 yards. First down has been a great down for them in this ball game. I just don't. The only one I'm questioning is the third and short yardage deals where they're trying to throw the ball when they could be running it.
Just under 5 minutes remaining in this first half. Baxter to the 45, stopped by Spindler.
That was a nice move by Brad Baxter. The play was called to go inside. He saw that there was nothing there on the inside, so he just hopped back to the outside and picks up 5 yards. Left of the screen. Here's the block by Blair Thomas right at the point of attack. Now outside, Baxter goes, and then back to the inside. Spindler misses the tackle, or makes the tackle, excuse me.
Second down and 5 at the 45. Lions 21 and the Jets 14. There's Baxter for the first down and some additional yardage. So Brad Baxter running well. He's in his second year out of Alabama State. He spent 1989 on the developmental squad. Last year emerged as a protective power runner, originally an 11th round draft pick of the Vikings. There's Marvin Washington, who has made his return, headed back to the locker room, and now looks like he'll be ready for action.
Jerry Ball's the only one that remains in the locker room.
First down at the 34. Again, Moore in motion, and the flags are thrown.
Well, Brett Miller, number 72, pulls up. Even if the defensive man comes across, now the question is, did the defensive man make the contact? There was movement on the right-hand side of the defensive line and also on the left-hand side. Now they can move. Defensive line can move across and get back as long as you don't make contact.
That is the right tackle, Brett Miller, who alternates with Irv Eatman.
Okay, Red.
False start. Before the ball was snapped, left tackle and the right tackle. 5 yards, still first down.
It's got both sides.
Take your choice. Criswell on one side. Here he is here. Does he move? That's a movement. You can't do that, even that little movement. That's movement. And then you see Miller, 72, stand up. That's nice to give it to them, both of them, though, you know?
Sets it back to a first and 15. O'Brien trying to hit Thomas, and a flag has been tossed. Flag is downfield. Any blades on the coverage of Blair Thomas.
You know what's amazing about this whole thing is Blair Thomas is the only player downfield beyond 4-yard pattern because both Moore and Toon ran short pattern. Now the question, don't say that ball isn't catchable because Blair Thomas gets his hand on it. It is catchable. But the pattern, it was a strange pattern because it was a play-action pass, and neither one of the wide receivers really went downfield. It was all designed for Blair Thomas coming out. Pass interference on the defense. That's a call. All right. Here goes Blair Thomas. Downfield. And I want to know where the pass interference is because there is none.
Well, I think it occurred just before you saw the end of the play.
Yeah, but I mean, we saw it there. Watch it. They're not even touching each other because Blair Thomas is already beyond William White.
It's a 23-yard penalty, first down at the 16. And again, Hector.
The Jets are doing that is really smart. You got the one guy that they talked about so much yesterday, Jerry Ball, number 93, is out of the ball game. So they're going, basically, their runs are from guard to guard and not tackle to tackle. They're running right inside where the big man would have been.
Get the idea, though, that the Jets are a bit down on Blair Thomas after that early fumble?
Yeah, I think they are. I think you're right.
We're seeing quite a bit of Freeman McNeil and Johnny Hector. Brad Baxter has received the call. Second down and 7. O'Brien completes. And, they may call it incomplete. Did not have possession. Hard hit by the strong safety, William White.
To the right. Coming to the outside, Freeman McNeil. And there is no catch. He didn't have control of the ball. William White, good hit by number 35. They're talking to each other now, aren't they? Talking trash.
Ken O'Brien is 4 for 9, only 47 yards. Yes, William White with some words in the face of Freeman McNeil. 6 defensive backs for Detroit for the 3rd and 7, and it's broken up. Number 25, Sheldon White, breaking up that pass intended for Dale Dawkins. Sheldon White, one-time Giant. He was a 3rd-round draft pick of the Giants back in 1988. Here comes Pat Leahy. 7-point lead for the Lions with 2:01 remaining in the first half, and this a 30-yard attempt for Leahy. Last week he hit 2 of 2 from close range.
Missed it.
No good. Pat Leahy has struggled this season, not able to hit from 30. We'll be right back. Overall for Pat Leahy now, it is 24 for 34 for the season. Not a good year for Pat, who has to be wondering at age 40 whether it's still there. He is 0 for 6 from beyond 40. You saw the stat from beyond 30. Missed from 30 yards away just a moment ago. Here's Sanders getting the big hole. And he has a first down. 1:45 remaining.
Hurry up offense.
First half. Time running down. Sanders went for 12. The Detroit Lions come in at 9-4. Chicago beating Green Bay earlier, so right now they're a half game behind the Bears. And it is completed for a short pickup. Hasty making the stop on Green. That went for 4 on the play, and now the Lions call for time. 1:26 to go in the first half. Well, the guys coming up at halftime, NFL Live, Bob and Will and Bill and OJ, Domino's Pizza, NFL Live. Halftime edition just ahead. A look back on a busy day around the NFL. And that is a first down catch by Robert Clark. He was able to maintain it inbounds, covered by Mike Graham, and it's good for 15.
Well, this pass took a long time to get back over, but watch Clark. He catches the ball, both feet inbounds, and then he falls out of bounds, which stops the clock at 1:19, saves the timeout. The Lions still have 2, and they're getting in field goal range.
Robert Clark in his 6th season from North Carolina Central, 3rd year with Detroit, spent a couple with New Orleans, known for his precise pass patterns. And he has had an excellent season. Now Kramer off the pump, goes short range to Sanders, and this time met head on, and that is rare to see. Barry Sanders stopped for a loss of 5.
Mo Lewis is the guy that stops him, and what he did that time is that they talked about it to us yesterday, Pete Carroll and also Jeff Lageman, is the fact that they have to commit themselves, go directly at Barry Sanders and make him try to juke so to give some people some time to get over to him. That time was Barry Sanders was trying to make that move. Mo Lewis hit him as soon as he caught the ball.
At the conclusion of today's game, we'll be presenting the Avis We Try Harder Award, which we give it to the game's most valuable player. Wayne Fontes, in his 3rd full season as Detroit head coach, took over on an interim basis. Back in 1958, he had been the Lions' defensive coordinator. Last season, Lions went 6-10. Previous year, 7-9. So the feeling was there was pressure on Wayne this year. And they have responded. Willie Green, covered by James Hasty.
We got a couple of guys tied up at the 50-yard line. That's Washington's down on the ground, but they're all right.
Correction, Wayne Fontes took over the Lions back in 88, not 58. That would have been a neat trick because he was still at Michigan State.
Tough to find Wayne Fontes here yesterday. We were at practice. They've got 13 assistants. They got more guys than they got a coach for every 3 guys.
It is a 3rd down and 3 at the 42 as we come up on 1 minute remaining first half. Sanders with the inside handoff. He broke tackles and has the first down. Mo Lewis with a shot at him, and then he was finally brought down. Went for 5.
Only problem, the Lions only have 1 timeout left, so when you run the ball, you keep Barry Sanders inside. Now when you got first down, you throw one away here?
87 yards, 10 carries for Sanders. Kramer with the time. Incomplete. Robert Clark, the intended receiver, and Kramer is shaken up. He took a shot in the first quarter, hurt his shoulder, and not looking too good right here.
Same guy hits him again. Dennis Byrd, watch this, number 90. Here's Kramer moving around. There's only so much time, and then here comes Dennis Byrd again. Bang! This is almost a repeat of the first quarter, back on his back. He's hurt. He's not giving up his job, though. He said, I was lucky to make the team. Now I have the starting position. I'm not giving it up.
Andre Ware is the backup quarterback. Eric Kramer, not what you call a glamour quarterback. Did not play quarterback as a senior in high school. Late bloomer. Sanders runs it out. He was not highly recruited by colleges. Ended up at North Carolina State. He was the ACC Player of the Year in '86. And as we mentioned earlier, spent some time in Canada with Calgary. Signed as a free agent with Detroit last year. He's also playing with a jammed finger on his throwing hand that was suffered last week in the Thanksgiving Day game against the Chicago Bears. It's a 3rd and 6 at the 33. Lions need some yardage. Eddie Murray is not a long-range field goal specialist. Robert Clark took a hit from Mike Grimm, but a first down collected. 8-yard advance. Time running down.
Well, he's got to throw the ball away. He's got to get up under center.
And he stops the clock with 8 seconds remaining in the half, and the Lions leading the Jets by the score 21-14.
Well, you're looking at here, let's see, the 30, 32, 33. So you're looking at a 43-yard field goal. Or do you go for one more play? You only have 8 seconds. So you have a chance of going to the end zone or a little short out pattern.
Murray did hit a 50-yarder against Chicago last week, but as I mentioned, that has not been his specialty.
Now they just took their last time out. So where do you go from here now? I mean, here comes Murray out. Well, obviously he'll kick the field goal, at least try it. 43-yarder, this could be made.
So down to 8 seconds remaining in the half, and Eddie Murray is coming on. Just saw a shot of Andre Ware, who was the 1989 Heisman Trophy winner. Next Saturday, NBC Sports will present the 1991 Heisman Memorial Trophy Award Show, presented by AT&T. That'll be live from the Downtown Athletic Club in New York City. All the candidates will be there, led by Desmond Howard and Florida State's Casey Weldon. Last year's winner, Ty Detmer. Next Saturday at the special time of 7 o'clock Eastern, following our coverage of Kansas City and San Francisco. It's a 43-yard attempt from straight away. Murray able to put it through. Eddie Murray now 17 for 23 for the season, and he connects from 43 yards out. The Detroit Lions with a 24-14 lead with only 2 seconds to go in the first half. Detroit Lions come in with a record of 9-4 and need a victory to tie Chicago for the NFC Central lead. The Bears earlier defeating Green Bay, so they are at 10 up and 4 down. Detroit going for its first playoff appearance back in '83 when the Lions, with a record of 9-7, lost to San Francisco 24-23 in the first round of the playoffs. Also, win today would give the Lions their first undefeated home season since back in 1962 when they went 7-0 playing at Tiger Stadium. Lions 7-0 here at the Silverdome this year. And they put it on the ground. It's handled by the tight end Chris Gressel. So time has run out in this first half. Halftime in Pontiac. And the Detroit Lions sparked by 2 touchdowns by Barry Sanders. 1 for 51 yards. Lead the New York Jets 24-14. We'll be back after these words from your local station. Back at the Silverdome in Pontiac, the Lions leading the Jets at halftime by the score of 24-14. A first half that saw Barry Sanders run for 91 yards on 11 carries, including 1 51-yard run for a touchdown. Now let's go to Bob Costas at our New York studios for the halftime edition of NFL Live.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report. Brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Nobody knows like Domino's how you like pizza at home.
So the Lions with the lead of 24-14 at the half in the Silverdome against the Jets, and Sanders has 91 yards rushing in the first half, including 2 touchdowns, one of which was a 51-yarder.
Yeah, but even if the Lions win, it's going to be a costly win. You know, Jerry Ball, they're terrific defensive nose tackles, a Pro Bowl kind of guy, get hurt, and I think the way he get hurt, the sort of shot he took from the Jet player might be a little bit controversial when everybody takes a look at those film tomorrow.
Bill?
You know, no one's talking about the Lions offense. All you hear around the league is Buffalo, Houston. The Lions offense, they lost Rodney Peete. They have their backup quarterback in there, and they're ringing up points every week. This is the offense that impresses me.
Okay, there's another big game going on at the Coliseum in Los Angeles, and the Raiders have the lead over the Bills at halftime, 20-14. Al Edwards had a 91-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, one of the big plays for Buffalo. Schrader threw a 78-yard touchdown pass to Tim Brown. It's been a wide-open first half. The Raiders battling for the championship in the AFC West with Denver and Kansas City hanging in there as well. Buffalo already clinching in the AFC East, but looking to lock up home field advantage throughout the conference playoffs. Very important game, 2014. Raiders at the half. How about this? Phoenix with a 14-0 lead in the third quarter at home over the Redskins. Now, because the Saints lost earlier today, the Redskins have wrapped up home field advantage no matter what they do the rest of the way throughout the NFC playoffs, so they have no incentive at all in this ballgame. San Francisco just tacked on a touchdown at Seattle. They widened their lead over the Seahawks to 17-9. Atlanta will move into a first-place tie with New Orleans atop the NFC West if they maintain this lead at Los Angeles. They are drubbing the Rams in Anaheim 24-7 at the half. Now, earlier today, Houston locked up their first ever outright AFC Central Championship, 31-6 over the Steelers at the Astrodome. Warren Moon goes by 4,000 yards passing for the second consecutive year. This was part of it, a 16-yard touchdown pass in the third quarter to Haywood Jeffries. Alan Pinkett had a big day on the ground. He had 98 yards rushing, including 2 touchdowns, one of which was this 11-yarder in the fourth quarter. A bit later, Al Smith picked up a fumble, went 70 yards for a Houston touchdown. They win it, 31-6. They're the champs of the AFC Central. Philadelphia with a big win over the Giants at the Meadowlands, 19-14, 6 in a row for the Eagles. They're 9-5, in great shape for a wild card. Did it without Jim McMahon in the second half. After he was hit on that play by Lorenzo Freeman, he had bruised ribs, and Jeff Kemp went the rest of the way. Phil Simms with a pair of first-half touchdown passes to Dave Meggett. This was one of them, but the Giants were shut out in the second half, and then Kemp brought the Eagles back. This was where the comeback began. He scrambles out of trouble, floats this one out to Calvin Williams for the touchdown. That made it 14-10. A pair of Ruzek field goals, and they led 16-14. Matt Barr could have given the Giants the lead in the fourth quarter, but hooked the 32-yarder. Instead of leading 17-16, they still trailed. Ruzek tacked on another field goal, and the Eagles celebrate winning it 19-14.
7 out of 8 against the Giants.
This was the playoffs for us. Every game was a playoff game for us, and I can't say enough that I did not contribute, and I hurt the team.
We dug a hole for ourselves, and I think that's allowed us to keep focusing on every game because we really can't lose any. At least that's the way we have to take it. That attitude is making us play so hard and prepare so well that I think we can take it into the playoffs, but the next step at this point is Dallas.
Okay, the Broncos clinch at least a wild card, and they stay alive, of course, in that battle with the Raiders for the championship of the AFC West. They beat the Browns in Cleveland 17-7. Elway with the sore shoulder, nonetheless, threw a couple of touchdown passes. Although the Browns are 6-8, officially they're not eliminated from wild card contention, but they're hanging by a thread. Kansas City would have been in deep trouble had they lost at home to San Diego, spotted them a 14-0 halftime lead, came back, forced overtime, and won it in OT 20-17 with Mark Vlasic replacing an ineffective Steve DeBerg at quarterback. Kansas City is alive now at 9-5 for both the wild card and the division championship. Dallas won their third in a row, and New Orleans, suddenly stumbling after that great start, has lost 4 straight. Dallas 23 and the Saints 14. The Saints looked like a lock early in the year for the championship of the NFC West. Now they're not even a lock for a wild card, although that is likely. They are battling for their lives, and if Atlanta beats the Rams, as I said, it's going to be a first-place tie atop the NFC West. The Falcons and the Saints have split their 2 games head-to-head. Emmitt Smith had 112 yards rushing today for the Cowboys. Chicago, after losing 2 in a row, gets back on the beam. They win at Soldier Field over Green Bay 27-13. Harbaugh with a pair of touchdown passes to Wendell Davis. Brad Muster, who played in place of Neil Anderson. Anderson didn't play at all. Muster had a couple of touchdown runs for the Bears. So if the Lions beat the Jets, the tie is maintained atop the NFC Central between Detroit and Chicago. And New England, how about these pesky Patriots? They are now 5-9. They've played so many close games this year, trailing 17-3 at home to the Colts. They come back, tie the game with 7 seconds to play in regulation on a 1-yard touchdown pass from Millen to Ben Coates, and then in overtime, Millen uncorks a 45-yarder to Michael Timpson to win the game 23-17. Time for a deep breath, and then we continue following these messages from your local stations.
We're back at the Silverdome in Pontiac. The Lions lead the Jets by the score of 24-14. Marv Albert, along with Paul McGuire, and in all our conversations with Jet coaches yesterday and today, they said the key to the game is controlling Barry Sanders. And Paul, to this point, they have not done it.
No, they haven't. Running or receiving, he's got total yardage over 120 yards. 91 rushing the ball right now. In order for the Jets to win, they must contain him. I think the Jets offensively are going to be able to score at least 2 more touchdowns, possibly 3.
Whoa. But I'm going out on a limb making predictions.
I'm not worried about it, because the Detroit Lions defense is really not doing a whole lot to stop them either. But if they don't stop Barry Sanders, this game's history.
Yes, Sanders, 11 rushes, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns, plus 4 catches for 32 yards. And Eric Kramer with a good first half, 14 for 23. Ken O'Brien has had his difficulties. A couple of drops have not helped. Johnny Hector on the kickoff return. Hector reaching out across the 30-yard line, goes for 25. A look at the Coors Light halftime statistics, and look at the total yards. And here's another case where you can forget about time of possession, where the Jets have the edge.
Yeah, that doesn't make any difference. See the passing yardage for the Jets, only 47 yards. Remember, they had a long ball, the tune that he dropped. They've had a few other ones that have been dropped. Once O'Brien starts hitting downfield, which I think he can do, that's going to change, and he's going to get up into the 200-yard mark.
Only 4 out of 10, 47 yards. Blair Thomas is back in the backfield. However, the call to Brad Baxter. Baxter in the first half, 7 carries, 46 yards.
At halftime, Marv, I talked to Herb Butera, who is a linebacker coach of the Detroit Lions, and from where they are here, they cannot get to the locker room because they don't have enough time, and they're really livid, the coaching staff, about the block of Brad Baxter on Jerry Ball. They said it's just totally uncalled for, which will be sent to the league office.
Jerry Ball out with a sprained knee off the shot he took. 2nd down and 4 from the 37. We're just underway in the 3rd quarter. And it is Baxter picking up the first down. stopped by the combination of Blades and Crockett.
You know, you give credit, there's Jerry Ball right there. You give credit to the offensive line, but that time Al Toon staying with his block enabled the first down by Baxter. Jerry Ball is back on the sidelines. He's got a sweatsuit on. The thing that we get is sprained knee. Now, it could be, and after they do x-rays and things tomorrow, it'll be a little bit different, maybe.
It's a first down from the 44. Nice play-action fake, and O'Brien has it broken up. Double coverage. Blades got a piece of it. The pass intended for Moore.
I mean, first of all, this ball shouldn't be thrown to Moore because of the double coverage downfield. The man he should be throwing the ball to is Mark Boyer, the tight end. Run a play-action pass, that's fine. But take a look for your tight end. Don't throw into double coverage down the field.
And tight ends have hurt the Detroit Lions this season, but Ken O'Brien has not looked in the direction of Mark Boyer. Second down and 10 at the 44. Jets trailing by 10. Lions 24 and the Jets 14. And a timeout call by the Jets. That is not a timeout the Jets wanted to take, but there looked to be confusion. So we'll take a break. Back after this.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering. By Radio Shack, America's technology store. Nobody compares. By Hertz, we never forget who made us number one. We're Hertz, we're America's wheels. And by Canon, photographic consultant to the National Football League.
It is a second and 10 for the Jets from their 44-yard line. Lions 24, the Jets 14. Here's Thomas. Blair Thomas with a short pickup. Stopped by Mark Spindler and Tracy Hayworth. Spindler, the left defensive end, and Hayworth, the outside linebacker. It's a 5-yard advance. Blair Thomas has certainly had his ups and downs this season. He claims that he has not been in a slump, but much more has been expected of Blair Thomas. He did fumble earlier today, and since then, he has been pulled. We're seeing more and more of Hector and McNeil. Here is an end around, and then Toon will throw it on a flea flicker. A wide open Ken O'Brien. He was run out by Benny Blades, so the trick play worked.
It really did, and it was beautiful to watch it develop because O'Brien, here comes Toon in motion. He's going to come back, and he gives the ball to Toon. Watch O'Brien. I mean, nobody even gets near O'Brien, but once he catches the ball, all he's waiting for is a defensive back to get over there. Let me get out of bounds, and don't go whacking at me because Benny Blades, I'm going to get out of bounds inside the 25, and that's exactly what he did.
27 yards on the flea flicker. And a nice hole for Brad Baxter. Spindler and Spielman combine. A second and 6 from the 20. And here's Moore. And he was hit down by Ray Crockett. Moore could not get outside. That's a pickup of 4. 3.5 gone by in the third. And the Jets are down by the score of 24-14. Jets come in at 7 and 6. They are tied with Miami for the third and final AFC wild card spot. The Miami Dolphins tomorrow night, home for Cincinnati next week at San Diego, and then home for the Jets. It could come down to winner take all in that final Jet-Miami game. O'Brien off the roll, throwing, has the first down. Rob Moore on the reception, stopped by Hunter, and Taylor went for 7 and a first down.
Now here we are back again in the third down situations, and 3rd and 1 and 2, and throwing the football, and they were successful with it. And one of the reasons they are successful is everybody on the defensive secondary, they're dropping back into the end zone, and all O'Brien is doing is have his receivers go down. Rob Moore that time goes down and just hooks it up short, and they pick up the first down. That's all they wanted to do. They weren't planning on scoring on the play.
It is a 1st and goal from the 8. And Baxter stopped by Spindler. It'll be a 2nd and goal. The ball being spotted outside the 5.
Very interesting play calling. But they're seeing things, again, that we're not seeing, and they know what's opened up. The most important thing that's opened up in this ball game for the Jets is the fact that the Lions are playing without Jerry Ball in the middle.
And here's Freeman McNeil. And he's cut off from the end zone by Dennis Gibson, the inside linebacker. McNeil goes for 5.
There was a tremendous block on the inside by number 75, Irv Eatman. Right at the line of scrimmage. Irv Eatman just comes down the line of scrimmage, and then he makes a block. Baxter gets an excellent block, and Freeman McNeil almost scores. Now you're down here in his 3rd and 1 and 2 situation again. I bet they throw. They're all bunched inside.
84 Dressel in motion. Oh, they go to the ground, and McNeil is hit back behind the line. Hayworth and Blades combining on the tackle, and Pat Leahy, who missed from 30 yards late in the 2nd quarter, will come on and attempt from shorter range.
Blades was just sitting at the line of scrimmage, and remember, on all the other 3rd and shorts, the Jets passed the football. That time, they just bunched all 11 guys almost from tackle to tackle, from tight end to tight end, and try to run the ball. Couldn't do it.
22-yard attempt for Leahy. He's 24 for 34 for the season. And this time, it is good. 8:09 remaining. In the 3rd, the Lions now by 7. Well, Ken O'Brien with the key play. It ended up as a field goal. Jets not able to convert on a 3rd down run by Freeman McNeil. The key play, O'Brien on the catch off the flea flicker pass thrown by Al Toon, the first career completion for Al Toon, and the catch by O'Brien, his first career reception.
And it showed tremendous hands on that play.
Yes, it did, Paul.
Feet.
Let's not get nasty.
No. Feet are a little lacking. But he already told us once before that he'll never be called Twinkle Toes.
Well, Louis Aguiar getting set to kick off. They have been able to successfully keep it away from the #1 kick return man in the NFL. There he is. 6th year from Purdue, Mel Gray, a Plan B acquisition from New Orleans back in '89. Well, this time Gray had a shot at it, couldn't get to the high hopper, and it carries out of bounds. So Aguiar continues to do the good job. You saw penalty flags go flying.
Well, the question is, if nobody touches the ball, it goes out of bounds. The Lions will get the ball at the 35.
Place on the 35-yard line.
Yeah, they do. I can't believe the Jets didn't go down and catch the ball. I mean, this is crazy. Here comes Gray. Watch this. He lets the ball hit the ground. That ball is live. Now here, the ball is hit. and then knocked out of bounds by the Lions, they should not get the ball at the 35. The ball is knocked out of bounds by the Lions. The ball goes back to where the Lions knock it out of bounds. The Jets had a piece of the ball. You've got to review this. I mean, you're giving those guys about, what, 17 yards?
You saw number 89, Dale Dawkins, go for it. Here it is.
All right, watch this. The ball hits. Now, I don't know what Gray's thinking about because he's got to field the ball. Dawkins, he's got his hands on the ball, and then it's knocked out of bounds by Detroit. Now, the ball, that's inside, right at the 20-yard line, 19-yard line. That's where it should go out of bounds, not where they're giving the ball.
That was DJ Dozier who was able to get a piece of it and knocked it out of bounds.
Yeah, Al Roberts is, I mean, he's beside himself because Dawkins actually had the ball in his hands. But the ball should not be at the 35-yard line. The ball should be back down by the 18 or 19-yard line. But here's Gray. Watch this. He pulls away. This is not a punt. This is a kickoff. Here it is. Dawkins touches it, and then it's knocked out of bounds by Detroit. The ball goes out where? 18-yard line? You got to put the ball back, boys. Please put it back.
After a review by the replay official, we have a reversal.
Yeah, I would.
The play is ruled as being touched by the kickers by the receivers at the 17 before it went out of bounds. It'll be first down on the 17-yard line. First down.
I've already rolled 2 today.
They will move it back. Well, here are 2 instances, Paul, where instant replay has been right on.
Well, I'm going into officiating as soon as it's
in fact, many of us were going to suggest that. And I speak on behalf of the entire crew. 7:58 remaining in the third. And the Lions lead the Jets by the score of 24-17. Detroit first down at the 17. Kramer to throw on first down. And the catch by Farr. Stopped by Washington. Mike Farr, the son of one-time Lion All-Pro Mel Farr. He's in his second year out of UCLA. A pleasant surprise last season as a rookie.
You know what's happening with the Jets defensive line? You see, they've knocked a couple of balls down, Marv, but one of the problems that they're having is they're not really putting an all-out rush on Kramer because they're trying to be aware of where Barry Sanders is all the time. They don't want him to get beyond them.
Second down and 3. Farr comes in motion. And Sanders with the handoff botch. Not a good handoff from Eric Kramer, or perhaps Sanders was not expecting it. Lockerman on the tackle.
And downfield we got a couple of guys who are tangled. Face mask. Grimm is in there again.
See Brett Perriman also involved. But getting back to that play, looked to be either a careless handoff or confusion as to what the play was.
Well, look at Kramer. He goes back. Now, he goes to hand the ball and then pulls the ball away. He is the man that the quarterback is responsible for this. His job is to make sure he goes back and puts the ball in the stomach of the back. Now, he hesitated. From that angle, it doesn't look like he hesitated, but he did because what Sanders is doing is he's looking for the hole to run.
Kramer able to cover up, though. Third down and 7. And Kramer's pass almost intercepted. Kyle Clifton with a shot at it. The pass intended for Mike Farr.
Grimm was also there, and you know that they're booing. This young man Kramer is throwing balls that shouldn't be thrown. Actually, could have run the ball. Whether you've gotten the first down or not, I don't know. But he threw the ball into a whole lot of white shirts.
And here is Jim Arnold. Back at his 5. It is his third punt of the day. He's done very well. That's Terrence Mathis waiting for the punt out at the 34-yard line. Arnold line drives it. Mathis. Hit immediately. Excellent coverage. Ray Crockett getting downfield in a hurry. 49-yard punt. No return. There's Jerry Ball on crutches. coaches now, suffering the sprained knee earlier, chatting with Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars of the Detroit Pistons. 6.5 remaining in the third. Lions lead it by 7. Jets back to the offense. O'Brien had it knocked loose, and it's recovered by Detroit. Anthony Bell covers up.
The tackle was made by Melvin Jenkins. They had a blitz by the corner, came in. O'Brien was still trying to throw that play action to throw it downfield. Now, take a look at this. Here's O'Brien. The play action is there. He's looking for more on the outside. He's covered. Now here comes Jenkins. Comes in, knocks the ball loose. The fumble is recovered by Bell, Anthony Bell, number 59, and Detroit has the ball with a chance of going in at the 22-yard line.
Anthony Bell in his 6th year out of Michigan State. Backup outside linebacker, making the recovery off the tackle by Jenkins. And Kramer throws. Willie Green stopped by James Hasty. That goes for 5. It'll be a 2nd and 5 from the 17. Look at the success of the Lions when they play in dome stadiums.
They're actually going to be voting for dome stadiums throughout the world.
Well, of course, they play in the dome where they are 7-0, not the case on the road. On the reverse, Perryman could not make the turn. Mike Grimm forced him out. It's a loss of 3 on the play.
I just watched Lonnie Young that time trying to make a tackle, and it looks like, you get a feeling that his left shoulder is bothering him and he can't get his arm up because he couldn't make the tackle. Watch this. Here comes Perryman around. Now watch number 31, Lonnie Young. Watch his left arm. His right arm's up. His left arm, he can't get it up in to make the play. Then Brim comes over and makes the tackle. I don't like reverses anyway. I'm sorry.
It's a 3rd down and 8 at the 20. Detroit trying to take advantage of that O'Brien fumble. Kramer able to slip away, throws. Did he catch it? Out of bounds. Did not have possession. Robert Clark bobbled and could not maintain inbounds.
Eric Kramer, what a great play he makes to the outside. And look at where he throws this ball. This ball should have been caught. Now, Clark just cannot maintain control of the ball and does bobble it. The official were right on target. They won't review that. They don't even have to.
So with a 4th down and 8 at the 20, Eddie Murray, who in the first half hit from 43 yards away, will attempt from 37. And Murray has done it again. 5:08 remaining in the third. The Lions lead it by 10. All right, Detroit with a 27-17 lead on the Jets. 5:08 to go in the third quarter. And Eddie Murray, who just hit from 37 yards away, kicking it off to the combination of Hector and Brown. This is A.D. Brown with his first kickoff return. Nice spin. So the Jets have done a good job on kickoff returns. That goes for 30 yards. Kevin Pritchett on the stop. Rather, Kelvin Pritchett on the stop. Look at the Hertz 10-minute ticker. The Raiders now lead Buffalo 27-14 in the third. Washington and Phoenix tied at 14 in the fourth. Redskins, though, have already clinched home field advantage throughout the playoffs, with the Saints losing earlier. San Francisco by 1 over Seattle, and Atlanta leading the Rams. Jerry Glanville with a chance to lead the Falcons to the playoffs for the first time since 1982. Blair Thomas could not get outside. Stopped by George Jameson and Dennis Gibson. And now we're set for an update. Here's Bob Costas.
Marv, the Raiders extend their lead at the Coliseum on this 1-yard touchdown run by Marcus Allen. The setup was a Jay Schrader pass of 59 yards to Mervin Fernandez to move them deep into Buffalo territory. Raiders need this one, and they lead it 27-14 late in the third. Marv?
All right, Bob. 4:15 to go in the third here at the Silverdome in Pontiac. It's a 2nd and 9 for the Jets. And Baxter coughed it up. Tracy Hayworth runs it in. For Hayworth, outside linebacker, doubles as a tight end, second year out of Tennessee. Brad Baxter has had fumble problems in recent weeks.
He ran into his own man. I mean, there was no place to go with this play. First of all, Freeman McNeil went to the right, Brad Baxter went to the left, and they're over there talking about, somebody, obviously, I think, went the wrong way. Now, take a look at it. Freeman McNeil's on the bottom. Watch Freeman. He comes over here. Brad Baxter, he hits his own man. Mike Haight, that's who he hit. The ball pops out. And then Hayworth runs in for the touchdown. That's a strange play.
Well, the Lions have also used Hayworth upon occasion at fullback, but that is his first NFL touchdown. We'll be right back. Well, just a moment ago, 2 Detroit Lion players got hurt on the same play with Tracy Hayworth running it in on the fumble recovery. Dan Owens and Ray Crockett, both injured. Owens looks to be okay, but there is a problem, obviously, with Crockett.
Ray Crockett, they had to carry him off the field. Now, they said that he got hurt the play before this last play. He stayed on the field.
He did not want to come out, and then re-injured himself. Eddie Murray with the point after. So the Jets with their third turnover, now trailing 34-17. And Ray Crockett will be taken back to the locker room.
Here is the touchdown. Now watch what happens to Brad Baxter. There's Haight is back there. The ball just pops out. He runs into his own man. Dan Owens drives Haight back into the backfield. The ball pops up. Hayworth picks it up and goes for the touchdown. Now, we don't know actually what happened to Crockett, but they are wheeling Crockett off the field now and taking him to the locker room.
And they are doing it in a hurry. Ray Crockett, outstanding left corner for the Lions, the NFC's Defensive Player of the Month for November. In his third year out of Baylor, he cracked the starting lineup the last part of last season, and he has played so well.
Now, actually did not have contact on the touchdown play, but let's take a look at it on this play here. Ray Crockett is number 39 on the left-hand side of your screen. Here he is being blocked. But he's just kind of standing around, and it looked like he was having some kind of a seizure.
Well, we'll pass on a report as soon as it comes across. Fair catch by one of the up men, Mark Boyer. And with 3:56 remaining in this third quarter, the Jets are now down 34-17. A look at what is taking place next Sunday here on NBC, starting with NFL Live at 12:30. That's the lineup of games. Houston, Cleveland, Jets home for New England, Seattle at Atlanta, Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. The late game is Miami and San Diego. Several games with playoff implications. First down from the 28 for the Jets. Popping up, and it's broken up by Spielman. Getting a piece of it. Pass intended for Terrence Mathis. A look at the AFC playoff race. The division leaders, Buffalo, Houston, and Denver. And the Raiders and Kansas City in very good shape. Kansas City with a victory in overtime today. So it comes down to the Jets and Miami at 7 and 6. And they meet in the final weekend of the season. O'Brien off the fake. Catch by Freeman McNeil. George Jameson made the stop. He went for 10. It's a first down for the Jets. The Jets tied with Miami for that third and final AFC wild card spot. Trailing Kansas City 1 game over Seattle. And they say that Ray Crockett suffering from muscle cramps and may return. O'Brien's pass incomplete. It'll be a second down and 10 at the 40. Well, the Jets next Sunday home for the Patriots and finish up in Miami, while the Dolphins tomorrow night will play Cincinnati and then at San Diego, and then they are home for the Jets. O'Brien going to the other side, and that is short of a first down. Melvin Jenkins right there to stop Dale Dawkins, a 6-yard advance.
The Jets are in a hurry-up mode. They get there 3 minutes left to go in this third quarter, and they're throwing the ball down the field to receivers. Look at your backs coming out of the backfield. He's got Johnny Hector back there, and every time he comes out, he's free.
Third and 4, and that was almost picked off by Jameson.
Now we found out why he didn't throw the ball to Hector. He just threw it to him, and he hit him in the hands with it. He dropped it.
And they're having a number of drops starting in the first quarter by Terrence Mathis, and Al Toon had a touchdown opportunity.
Well, here it comes. Here he's just trying to dump the ball to Hector. It goes through his hands, and the Jets are going to go on fourth down at the 46-yard line, and 4 yards to go.
Well, they're down by 17. So Bruce Coslet going for it. Low snap. O'Brien
first down
for the first down. Saw the big hole and was able to get it to the 40 in Lion territory.
And what the Jets are trying to do here is they've got 4 wide receivers out, and the defense is getting a little tired. They can't change. And watch this. The blocking up front is perfect. White gets a good block, and then O'Brien picks up the first down, and they're still in the hurry up.
And O'Brien able to complete. Dawkins on the catch, stopped by Alexander. We come up on 2 minutes remaining in the third.
I wish they weren't in a hurry up so we could show you this. Do you know the Jets that time had 4 receivers in the same spot? They've got to spread these guys out. They're all bunched up together.
Inside handoff for Johnny Hector. Stopped by Chris Spielman. And that's short of the first down.
Well, Marv, if they were 4 downs in their own territory, you know it's going to be a 4-down offense at this, and when they're in the Lions territory.
Jets now with a third down and 1 with a minute and a half to go in the third. O'Brien off the roll, and he has a first down. Al Toon pushed out by Melvin Jenkins. Melvin Jenkins in a number of tackles. He's been playing hurt, but the coaches certainly like his style. He plays hard, leads the club in tackles on special teams in his 5th season from University of Cincinnati, a Plan B free agent player by way of the Seattle Seahawks. Spent 4 years with Seattle.
And they've got Detroit using 6 defensive backs, 4 down linemen, and 1 linebacker, which is Chris Spielman.
First down at the 26. O'Brien intended for more. And he was covered by Terry Taylor. Rob Moore had a difficult week, admits it was a tough week because of the fumble, a key fumble that he committed last week in the loss to Buffalo, but he was very upfront about it. Did not hide, as some guys do, as you know, Paul, after the game. He talked about it. Same for Scott Mercereau, was hit with a couple of critical penalties last week, but he did not run to the showers. Terrence Mathis with a first down pass play. Run out by William White. That goes for 10. So the Jets with a first down at the 15 as we peruse the Hertz 10-minute ticker. First, the early games. We'll get back to the scores in a moment. The Jets in their hurry up. We're down to a half minute remaining in the third. O'Brien could not find anyone. Freeman McNeil hit down by George Jameson. That's a 6-yard pickup. Time is running out in the third quarter. Lions 34 and the Jets 17. Again, the Jets quickly to the line.
Well, they have time to get this play out, but whether they're going to or not, no, they're not going to do it. O'Brien's going to walk to the sideline.
And that is it for the third quarter. We'll be back here at the Silverdome after these messages from your local station. Well, just a moment ago, Ray Crockett made his way back onto the field and heard it from the crowd. That's good news for the Detroit Lions. Ray, the starting left cornerback, Wayne Fonts telling us yesterday that he is Detroit's toughest player. Ray Crockett is back. Fourth quarter is underway. Detroit 34, the Jets 17. It is a 2nd and 5 down at the 10.
Well, you're looking at another situation, and that time Irv Eatman jumps. The defense, again, can't come across, but they can get back.
Before the ball was snapped. False start. Number 75 on the offense. 5 yards, still 2nd down.
All right, let's sweep around the 10-minute ticker brought to you by Starter. And we start from the top with the early games. And we'll check out the late games in a moment. With that victory by Chicago over Green Bay earlier, the Bears now lead the NFC Central by a half game over Detroit. However, a Lions victory over the Jets here this afternoon would put them back in a tie for the lead. And the late games, Raiders 27-14 over Buffalo. Raiders looking to avenge that 51-3 playoff loss last season. And how about Seattle? If they can beat San Francisco, they go 7-7, and they will vie for that final wild card spot along with the Jets and Miami.
Well, Marv, not only we got some tough things happening on the field, it looks like somebody might have fallen over the wall here at the stadium because they've got one of the people from the stands on the stretcher down in the left end zone. That's why the delay of the game, because this is the area in where the Jets are heading into the end zone, and they have someone on a stretcher that is not a player.
No question, that is the reason the game has been held up. We don't know the details of what exactly happened, but that is a fan that is being taken off via stretcher. And for the players, it has been a very difficult game physically.
It's good to see Crockett back. Actually, it's in muscle spasms and went into the locker room.
As you say, it looked like he was having a seizure.
It did, because the trainer put his hand in his mouth to grab hold of his tongue so he didn't swallow his tongue. They hurried him off the field, and it's good news for the Lions. They've already lost Jerry Ball. Chris Spielman is playing hurt, and then to lose their best defensive back would have been disastrous for him, but he's back on the field. There's Ray Crockett. Jerry Ball.
to pick it up. It's a 2nd and 10 at the 15. Fourth quarter is just getting underway. Marv Albert, Paul McGuire from the Pontiac Silverdome. Mathis in motion. And O'Brien throwing. And Mathis on the reception. Bumped out by Crockett, short of the first down. He picked up 7 on the play. A crowd of 71,664 here, short of a sellout by some 9,000. Capacity at 80,600. I would think that has to be awfully disappointing. I know times are rough here in the Motor City area, but ticket prices for the Lions are reasonable, and this club has gone so well, you would think they would sell it out. Here's O'Brien throwing for the end zone. Dale Dawkins, the intended receiver.
And the Jets will kick a field goal. Now we're looking at Blades is down. A lot of this fatigue and a lot of cramps and things are happening because the Jets are throwing the ball all over the field. They ran the hurry-up offense in the last 7 minutes of the third quarter and then into the fourth quarter.
So they are checking out the free safety, Benny Blades, and we'll take a timeout. Back after this.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Burger King, where you always get great tasting food your way, right away. By Buick and your local Buick dealers. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. By Coors Light, the Silver Bullet is the right beer now. And by the people of UPS, now offering next-day air delivery on Saturday.
Yet another severe injury suffered by the Detroit Lions, and another important member of the Lions, their starting free safety, Benny Blades, still down. Here's a look at how the injury occurred.
Right in the center of the picture, that's Blades with his arm up. He brought it down. Now watch him start lifting. He reached his hand back. He pulled a hamstring. And I can remember what that's like. I mean, it's a burning sensation. You just hear that little pop. He's smiling. He's happy, saying, I'll be back.
Well, moments ago, Ray Crockett returned after he was taken to the locker room, and Benny Blades, 4-year man out of Miami, made the successful transition from strong safety to free safety and has played very well. Big hitter, linebacker type, playing free safety, is headed off. Pat Leahy now will attempt from 25 yards away. It's a 4th down and 3 from the 8. Leahy is 1 for 2. Earlier he missed from 30. He hit from 22. And it's good. So the Lions now lead the Jets by the score of 34-20. Now the Lions say that Benny Blades suffering from cramps. A look at tonight's NBC lineup following the Jets and the Lions. Following the game on most of these stations, NBC presents Erie, Indiana, followed by the Torkelsons, Hot Country Nights, and then a world premiere movie, One Special Victory, starring Night Court's John Larroquette. That's all tonight, right here on NBC.
Now, you want to hear something that's really interesting and how stats are so misleading? In the third quarter, the Jets had the ball 12 minutes and 8 seconds, Marv. They were outscored 10-3, and the Lions, scoring those 10 points, had no first downs.
Well, the reason, one of the touchdowns scored on a fumble recovery by Hayworth, and he went 28 yards. And you look, as you say, stats misleading, which our crack statistician Barry Hockhauser does not take as a personal diatribe on your part, but the Jets lead the AFC in time of possession. They average better than 33 minutes per game, but you can throw that out in most cases. And Aguiar with a squib kick, and we'll have to wait and see. The Jets claiming it went the 10 yards.
It did. It did. And the Jets have the ball. They should have had another kickoff. That was Dawkins, I think, number 89, that ended up with the ball. But that ball has to go 10 yards before the Jets could touch it. The ball did go 10 yards. There's a legal recovery. First down. You bet. First down.
So the good play, Al Roberts, the special teams coordinator, congratulating his guys. Once again, nice job by Aguiar. And there's the 10 yards. Recovered by Dawkins.
Aguiar showed a lot of agility falling down.
First down at midfield. And O'Brien completes to Tune. Good hit. Good tackle by Melvin Jenkins.
O'Brien at 2 on the pass.
5-yard advance. Melvin Jenkins recently fined by the NFL $5,000 for a hard hit with his helmet a couple of weeks ago on Minnesota receiver Anthony Carter. Jets in a hurry up, and it's a first down. Rob Moore with the catch. Terry Taylor with the tackle.
They're letting some people get away with some things because that time the Lions were offside. It was never called.
For Moore, his third reception of the day.
Dan Owens, number 90, is coming off the field. Toby Casson went on the field, number 50. Remember now, Dan Owens came off when Crockett had cramps. He came off at the same time he hurt his ankle, and he's still limping.
First down at the 36. And O'Brien hits Mathis down at the 30-yard line, so that's short of the first down. Jamison making the stop, picked up 6 on the play.
We're coming up on 13 minutes in the fourth quarter, and you know that Barry Sanders has not touched the ball in the second half.
And that has been circumstantial.
It is.
O'Brien has the open man, penalty flag down as Freeman McNeil was able to remain in bounds, and then it was finally forced out. He went for 15. William White on the stop, but a flag is down.
They're calling holding against the Jets, and Jeff Criswell is talking now. I don't know whether he is the man or not. He was the outside tackle on this side of the field where the flag is thrown. But Freeman McNeil took the play action. That was Criswell. Freeman McNeil took the fake and goes through the hole, and nobody even covers him. Now Jeff Criswell is on the left-hand side of your screen. Toby Casson is number 50. Now Criswell just pulls him down on the left-hand side of the screen, but you see Freeman McNeil wide open. Now they're saying that Dwayne White moved. Calvin Pritchett
before the ball was snapped. Number 67 on the offense. Ball start, 5 yards, still second down.
First of all, the noise in here is absolutely incredible. But the other thing is that, you're hurrying up. It's as tiring on the offense as it is on the defense. Believe me, it is.
It'll be a second and 18 at the 44. O'Brien able to connect, but they're still some 10 yards away from a first down. Taylor making the stop on Moore. That's good for 7. O'Brien has now hit 7 of his last 8, but for the most part, short range. And he's 17 for 29, 137 yards. O'Brien again short, and Hector could not hang on.
Well, you're looking at 4th down, and they're going to go for it. Freeman McNeil just limped off the field. Johnny Hector drops the ball. You're looking at 4th and 11, and the Jets have to go for it. Remember, they got this ball back on an onside kick.
So it is a 4th down and 11. Jets trailing 34-20. Sanders, and it was deflected, incomplete. Intended for Mathis.
Ken O'Brien just fires this ball. He's got to believe it is fourth down and it's turned over. He's got to believe, though, that he couldn't pick up the first down on the play. There were people sitting in front of him. He knew he couldn't run for it, so he had to throw the ball.
Sheldon White, number 25, one-time Giant player with the coverage on Mathis, and the Jets give it up on downs. Detroit taking over at its 37-yard line.
Jets is going to carry the ball.
And it is Barry Sanders looking for blockers, reaching out to the 39.
Barry Sanders ran to the right side.
Marvin Washington and Kyle Clifton combined make the stop. I mentioned this crowd has been extremely loud, although they are short of a sellout. And I said that the Lions have had reasonable ticket prices, and they are reportedly the lowest ticket prices in the NFL, averaging out to shade over $18 per ticket, but no sellout today.
It is strange that they're undefeated at home, and playing as well as they're playing, and on their way, possibly to playoffs.
Second down at 8, play action, Kramer's pass knocked down. Washington got a piece of it.
Well, first of all, Detroit, they have no business throwing the ball. And I know they have the run and shoot, but they do have tight ends.
Here are the later scores. Raiders leading Buffalo. Washington defeating Phoenix. Redskins clinching home field advantage throughout the playoffs with that New Orleans loss earlier. And Seattle with a 22-17 lead on San Francisco in the fourth quarter. If they hold on, they are 7-7 and in the hunt for that wild card playoff position that both the Jets and Miami are seeking. Kramer completes. Brett Perryman has a first down. That's a 12-yard play. Kyle Clifton with the hit. So Brett Perryman, who leads the Lions in receptions, makes his first catch of the day.
Now we're going to see the Lions come in with some horses. Cannell's coming in. Dozier's coming in the game.
So we have seen more of a modified run and shoot, silver stretch offense by Detroit, and good things have not happened when they've gone with the tight ends or with the extra running back in Dozier. Sanders this time finds a hole and has a first down. Lonnie Young finally collared him. What acceleration, the stutter step moves, the balance. He's 5'8", and he's very difficult to find.
Yeah, he plants and moves, and he's going full speed. 56 is Jeff Lageman. Lewis Brown is out there. Lageman tries to get back in. Brown makes an excellent block on him, and then he makes a couple of moves back to the inside. If his players would get out of his way, Cannell, for example, number 46, he may score.
109 yards now for Barry Sanders. That went for 15. A lot of Young telling us last night having to tackle Sanders is like having to stop Michael Jordan in the open floor on a fast break. First down at the 33. Here's Sanders. This time the Jets get to him for a loss. Jeff Lageman was there to bring him down.
This is what you call when you call a play into the defense. Jeff Lageman is coming across. Watch this. Brown is trying to block him. His job is to get to the outside. They run a toss to Sanders back to the outside. Scott Mercerol is also there, number 94. But there was no place for Sanders to go. They ran right into the teeth of the defense.
Second and 19. Jeff Lageman telling us the biggest mistake players make trying to tackle Barry Sanders. Said they want to get the proper angle and usually miss. Says you have to go right at him, which he did in that instance, but he's missed on several occasions today. Kramer with the time and is able to complete to Perryman. Hasty on the coverage.
Again, you're getting the Jets. It's a defensive lineman at the line of scrimmage. They're just jumping up and down and not putting any pressure on the quarterback. And then Kramer just steps back. He's trying to throw one way. That's taken away. So he just turns back and looks for any wide receiver that's open, and happened to be Perriman going down the sideline.
And he picked up 15. It's a 3rd down 4 at the 27-yard line. Eric Kramer making his 6th start of the season. Move past Andre Ware behind the injured Rodney Peete. Peete is out for the season. Is it possible they are taking another look at that last?
They're looking to see if Perriman is inbounds when he catches the ball. There it is. There's 1, 2.
On the field, the play is ruled as a catch.
3.
Both feet inbounds, then going out of bounds. The play is being reviewed.
Still inbounds, Red. Good catch.
After a review by the replay official, the play stands 3rd down.
Thanks, Red.
What quick action you received.
3rd down.
It's a 3rd and 4 at the 27. That man, Eric Kramer, 17 for 29, 223 yards. Did not have a particularly good game against the Bears on Thanksgiving, although Detroit won it. Helped by 6 Chicago turnovers, 4 interceptions for the Lions. Kramer was only 9 for 27. Sanders on the inside, a handoff as Kramer faked the fade, and Lageman was there along with Lewis.
Lageman may have set a record for tackling Sanders in one game by one guy. he's had about 4 or 5 times. Look at Lageman. He's watching. He makes a commitment. Sanders tries to cut back inside. Lageman gets him, and now Detroit's going to put a field goal up there. That's a smart thing to do.
It is a 4th down and 2. And Eddie Murray, who has connected from 43 and from 37, will attempt from 43 yards out.
They worked on a fake here yesterday. I doubt if they'll do it.
And Murray line drives it. No good. So the score remains Lions 34, Jets 20. 8 minutes remaining in the 4th. A reminder, next Saturday, starting with NFL Live at 3:30, it'll be Kansas City and San Francisco. And on the NFL Live pregame show, O.J. Simpson and Bill Walsh will report on their visit to the San Francisco 49ers. Bill making his return to the 49er camp. And then the Chiefs and the 49ers. It all gets underway. 3:30 Eastern Time. 8 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter at the Silverdome. The Jets are down by 14. O'Brien with the pass on target at midfield for Rob Moore. Stopped by William White, and that is good for 26 yards.
That's one of the few long passes we've seen the Jets complete downfield. Most of the stuff they've been doing is short, but they're running out of time. They're 14 points down, 7.5 minutes to go. They've got to get 1 touchdown in a hurry.
Look out, and O'Brien is hit down by Jeff Hunter. That is his 5th sack of the season.
Well, you can't throw one way downfield and then take a sack. Now, he really doesn't see anything coming on the outside. Irv Eatman is the guy that missed Hunter. Hunter just ran right by Irv Eatman.
Hunter at 6'5", 285. Good speed for a big man. And then O'Brien is picked off. Another Jet turnover. George Jameson with the interception. And Jameson returns it for 18. He was brought down by Mike Haight. And Jameson is shaken up.
Watch where O'Brien throws this ball, Marv, right down the middle of the field. Now, falling down is Rob Moore. He did fall down, but I don't think he'd have been able to get the ball anyway because Jameson was in a position. There were some underneath people that you could have thrown the ball to, that O'Brien could have thrown the ball to. He didn't do that. He tried to force it downfield, and it was picked off.
Jameson with his third interception of the season. He had one last week. Ken O'Brien picked off for the first time today. George Jameson went down, but apparently is all right. He has had a sensational day. Interception, a sack, 9 tackles. Jerry Ball telling us that George Jameson gets his vote for MVP of the defense. Back to the offense for Barry Sanders. Stopped by Dennis Byrd. Ball telling us that Jameson has done it in quiet fashion.
And the Jets take a timeout, but there's a classic run that we just saw, Barry Sanders. He's in the backfield, but he gets a yard.
Timeout has been called with 7:01 remaining in the fourth. Detroit leading the Jets 34-20. 7:01 remaining in the fourth quarter. And following the Jets and the Lions, a look at the lineup tonight here on NBC, starting with Erie, Indiana. Sanders, and this time the Jets able to get to him. He had nowhere to go. He tried the spin move. He lost 2 on the play. Kyle Clifton will get credit for the stop. The Lions with the 14-point lead, a couple of touchdowns by Sanders in the first quarter, a 14-yard run, and then a spectacular 51-yard scamper. Jets came back to tie it at 14. 6-yard touchdown run by Blair Thomas, who has been silent today. That following the early fumble, and Bruce Coslett has not been looking his way. In fact, we've seen quite a bit of Johnny Hector and Freeman McNeil. Then Eric McMillan on a 57-yard return off an interception tied the game at 14. Eric Kramer hooking up with Willie Green to give Detroit 21-14 lead in the second. A 43-yard field goal by Murray extended it. 24-14 at the half. In the third, Leahy hit from 22. Murray answered with a 37-yard field goal for a 10-point Detroit lead. And then the fumble recovery by Hayworth, who ran it in from 28 yards away. That's the big play. Detroit led 34-17. Leahy's 25-yard field goal has cut it to 34-20. 6:50 remaining in the fourth. Sanders, and they will rule that incomplete. Covered by Washington. It'll be a fourth down play as we sweep around the starter. 10-minute ticker. Giants beaten by the Eagles, and with Atlanta winning, they have been eliminated from the playoffs. Kansas City with a victory in overtime. Dallas defeating New Orleans. Chicago beats Green Bay. Detroit needing a win here today to remain on top along with Chicago in the NFC Central. And San Francisco has overtaken Seattle. Victory for Seattle will put them at 7-7 and very much in the wild card hunt along with the Jets and Miami. To cover up.
First of all, he shouldn't be back there the fair catch it. You don't go beyond the 10-yard line.
35-yard punt, and the ball is spotted down at the 8.
The Jets are sitting here now with no timeout, 6:36 remaining. They've got to get 2 touchdowns to tie the score.
Paul, it's been an incredible physical game for the Detroit Lions. You see the timeouts remaining. Detroit with their 3. 7 starters have been hurt. Only Ball at this point seriously hurt, forced out of the game. Here's O'Brien on first down, connecting with Toon out at the 15-yard line, met by Crockett and Alexander. Now, Jerry Ball is out with a sprained knee. Others who have either gone back to the locker room or to the sideline: Spielman, Owen, Blades, Crockett, Jameson, and Hayworth. 7 starters overall. Pass intended for Toon. They also had a fan fall out of the stands. He was taken off by stretcher. A couple of Jets were shaken up. Are you okay?
I'm fine right now. Most of the stuff with Detroit though is cramps, Blasey thought it looked like he pulled a hamstring. He didn't. He just got cramps. When they were taking him off, you see when they're holding the guy's feet back towards their body, that's so that they won't cramp up. But here are the Jets in a tough situation. They've got 3rd and 2. No timeouts.
And O'Brien sacked for the 5th time. Dan Owens with his 5th of the season.
Well, here's a guy, Dan Owens, that left limping twice in this game. He's not limping now. Now the Jets are going to have to punt. They can't take any more timeouts. Detroit, all they really have to do is get a couple of first downs after they get this ball back.
5 sacks of Ken O'Brien. Not a good number from the Jet point of view, and they have felt so good about the fact that they've cut down on O'Brien's sacks this season. But the Lions have been all over him. Dan Owens with his 5th of the year. Here's Aguiar. Mel Gray. So Gray with the fair catch on a 37-yard punt. And it will be Detroit ball at the Jet 44-yard line.
Now we got some fighting and some flags going on. This has been going on all day long. They already had offsetting once. Have another offsetting. Red.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 39 on the receivers. Number 46 on the kickers. Both players are disqualified.
Well, Ray Crockett thrown out. So now we know he is gone for sure.
Trevor Matich, he's gone.
Crockett in a discussion with Wayne Fonts, and Trevor Matich also called. So Rick Cashin looking to send a message.
Well, there's only 5 minutes and 35 seconds left.
Well, he doesn't want it to get out of hand at this point, and there goes Crockett.
Worn out the lock on the locker room door. Never seen so many guys go in there. Some miracle stuff happens in there, though. You know that?
So first down at the 44 when we resume, and Crockett is hearing it from the crowd. Ray Crockett in his 3rd season out of Baylor. Had a good one today. Strong game last week. 8 tackles and an interception Thanksgiving Day against the Chicago Bears. And Sanders squirming his way. They can't bring him down. Gets inside the 40-yard line. A couple of Jets thought they had him.
Well, yeah, thought is right. Washington thought he had him. Bird thought he had him. And Lonnie Young thought he had him. What's this? Want to see how good he is? There's Young, 31. Nope, you don't have him. There's Bird, 90. Nope, you don't have him. Washington, you're down there. Hasty, you didn't see him. There's another Washington. He went through 2 Washingtons and a Bird.
18 carries, 107 yards, 2 touchdowns for Barry Sanders. 16 touchdowns to lead the NFL. Leads the NFC in rushing. Depending how Thurman Thomas, his pal from Oklahoma State, made out today against the Raiders. And it is Sanders once again. Looks like he picked it up. Went for 4 on the play.
Well, we got another guy down. We got somebody else hurt. Eric Sanders, number 64. The right tackle is grabbing his knee.
Sanders, the 11-year veteran from Nevada, Reno. Wayne Fonts comes out to take a closer look. And we'll take a break with 4.5 remaining in the 4th quarter. Marv Albert with Paul McGuire back at the Silverdome in Pontiac, and the unfortunate injury parade continues now. The right tackle, Eric Sanders, being helped off.
The little guy with the Lions jacket on, little bald spot in the back like mine, right here. That's Kent Valve, 26 years as trainer for the Lions. And he spent a year here today running out on the field. He's lost about 27 pounds running in and out of here. He's been in the locker room 4 or 5 times. He's absolutely soaking wet underneath that jacket. They're trying to make room for all these different people. Fortunately, most of them had cramps, minor things have gone and come back. But Sanders looked like he grabbed his knee when he went down. And that's exactly what they're looking at.
And now they are ready to resume as we come up on 4 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. Scott Conover has come on, replacing Eric Sanders. And Barry Sanders with a flag thrown. Goes for short yardage. Joe Kelly made the stop.
Unsportsmanlike conduct for kicking. Number 31 on the defense. He's disqualified. 15 yards. First down.
Things getting a bit testy. Lonnie Young has been disqualified for kicking, so he has been ejected.
He'll be on the left-hand side of your screen. Here comes Lonnie in here. Sanders goes down, and then they try to roll up on him. Is that Lomas Brown? On the ground? No. It's Conover, number 76. And then Lonnie kicked him, and that's also a fine.
So Lonnie Young, who had to garner up 40 tickets for family and friends from nearby Flint, Michigan.
And probably another grand somewhere in there.
As an early exit. It will be a first down at the 16. And Lonnie getting the treatment from the crowd as he heads off.
Barry Sanders just came off the field. And Don Overton, number 33, went in the backfield along with DJ Dozier.
Barry Sanders, 20 carries, 114 yards. And Don Overton, second-year player from Fairmont State, has checked in. All right, look at the playoff picture. If we give the Jets a loss to make the record at 7 up and 7 down, Miami plays tomorrow night against Cincinnati. The race for that final wild card position involves Miami, the Jets, and Seattle. So Seattle now goes to 6-8 as they have been beaten. Final score, San Francisco 24 and Seattle 22. So it appears that it will come down to the Jets and Miami, and they meet the final weekend of the season. And Detroit is just running it down. We come up on 3 minutes to go in this fourth quarter.
And the people that pay the lowest in the National Football League for tickets are booing because they want to see some more points up on the board. The game is over, folks. You can go home now.
And we are checking the starter 10-minute ticker. It has been a long day for Ken O'Brien. Picked off on that last series. Had several drops that hurt. Dropped by Toon, a drop by Mathis. The Jets, for the most part, going short range throughout the day. O'Brien 19 for 35, 176 yards. Third down play. And the clock approaches 2 minutes remaining.
Well, the worst part about these 3 plays, Kramer gets 3 carries for a minus 6 yards.
You are awfully stat conscious from one who points out that the stats are misleading. All right, 2 minutes to go in the fourth. We'll be back in a moment. Two minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, and Detroit leading the Jets by the score of 34-20. The Lions on their way to a record of 10-4. The Jets will drop to 7-7, and a field goal attempt from 39 yards out for Eddie Murray, and it is blocked. So Murray is 2 out of 4 for the day. The Jets able to block the attack. Now we're set for an update. Let's go to Bob.
Let's kick a field goal here. Buffalo might win.
Marv, 2 overtimes earlier today. There might be another one brewing at the Coliseum. Here's Jim Kelly hitting James Lofton with exactly a minute to play following the conversion. Buffalo has come from behind and tied the Raiders at 27. 2 TD passes for Kelly. He leads the league with 30.
All right, Bob, it appeared that Bobby Houston got a piece of it to block the field goal attempt, and O'Brien fires one, sending the prayer, and it is picked off. Intercepted by Taylor. O'Brien intercepted for the second time today, and the Lions get it back with 1 minute and 43 remaining in the fourth. Terry Taylor with his 4th interception of the season. He had 2 last week, so that's 4 the last 3 weeks. And it will be Detroit ball from their 30-yard line. Jets out of timeouts. And Detroit will make it a record of 8-0 here at the Silverdome. This their first undefeated home season since back in 1962 when they went 7-0 at Tiger Stadium. Now they're spotting it back at the 28-yard line. Let's take a look at today's Canon camcorder replay of the game. And it was Barry Sanders who got the Lions off early, jumping to the 14-0 lead. This one of his 2 touchdowns, this from 14 yards away to give Detroit a 7-0 lead. He went 51 yards on another touchdown run. Jets did come back to tie it at 14, but the Lions with a 34-20 lead. And now they will run out the clock. You see it down to 50 seconds. And for the Lions, victory number 10 represents only the 5th time in the history of the franchise that they have won 10. Last time, 1970, record of 10 up and 4 down. The employee owners of Avis salute the game's MVP. There he is, Barry Sanders, winner of the We Try Harder Award. Avis, the official car rental company of the NFL. Barry Sanders with 114 yards on 20 carries. So the Jets will be in front of the television set tomorrow night rooting for the Cincinnati Bengals against the Miami Dolphins. 34-20, the final. Lions defeat the Jets. Marv Albert with Paul McGuire saying thanks for tuning in, and we will switch to the